Medaka is impervious to my charms. 12 episodes, romance, comedy, and ecchi. Now, this one was disappointing. That's in well, not disappointing, because disappointing means that I had hopes for this one to be good. From the trailer alone, I already knew that this wasn't going to be all that good. But I gave it the honest shot, watched all 12 episodes, and it was what I thought it was going to be. A very lukewarm anime of the winter season. Now, let me give you details on my opinions on this one. Now, we have, obviously, this being a romance, we have two main characters. We have the female lead and the male main lead. Now, let's go with the female lead, Mona. Mona, she has always been super popular. I'm going to use that. Super popular, super cute. Ever since she was a baby, she was not popular. She was a baby, and you know what? In the room where they put all the babies and the parents look at from the window. Not only the parents, but the babies also were all looking at her direction. I mean, yeah, she was a cute baby, but it's anime. Now, she has always been that popular, like I said, since she was born. Middle school, high school, both boys and girls love her. And I'm going to give kudos to the girl, the main the with Mona. Usually that level of constant popularity, attention, goes into your head and twist your personality into something ugly. You become arrogant. You think to yourself, "Ah, everybody loves me, I can get away with anything." But no, I don't know, she just turned out to be a decent person. Is she a saint, a kind-hearted saint from the bottom of her heart? No, she does have her twisted thoughts, but to the normal level, she's still a relatively good person. Now let's go with our other character, Medaka, who is the the male main lead. He comes from the countryside. Apparently, his family owns a temple, and he just wants to enter high school, graduate, and then return to this countryside and take over the temple. Now, the way that these two people, at least the romance start rolling along, is that Mona being popular, everybody looking her way. Well, Medaka, he is just not interested. In fact, every single time that she messes with him, he do this crunch, putting his fingers in the middle of in between his eyebrows, and just doing this face like he's angry or something. And Mona, she just doesn't believe that there's somebody that isn't is somebody that's not charmed by me, but like the title of this anime. And she just starts messing with him, doing different sex appeal stuff, doing very cutesy faces, or cutesy poses, showing a little bit of skin. She in the photo that I'm going to show now, she's lifting her shirt up in the gymnasium in order to expose her belly button area, belly button, her midriff area, belly button area, whatever, and just doing a lot of stuff. Even in one scene, she's in top on a small stool, and she's hanging a poster or something, and she's purposely leaning forward in order for him to see see her panties, and he is just he is no no, let me continue walking straight forward, no looking sideways, and that just throws her for a loop. Now, apparently, the reason why Medaka is constantly resisting her charms is because, like I said, he wants to inherit the temple from his family, and apparently, for some reason, that means that he cannot fall in love or have a relationship with a woman. And look, there's two things that I'm going to say about that. One, family temple. In other words, he has a father and a mother. He didn't just appear out of nowhere. So apparently, so yes, he is from my understanding, unless he was adopted and or something, he can have relationships with a woman. I'm not an expert in the temple and all of that. So the other thing that I'm going to touch upon is during the whole 12 episodes, there's no flashback. There's nothing about nothing like a card or anything about her parents saying that he's going to inherit or stay away from women. Honestly, without reading the manga, without reading the novel, my opinion that how the story is going to go is that he's going to go to his parents' house. He's saying, I managed to either succeed or fail in with relationship with women," and his parents are going to go like, "We sent you to Tokyo away from the countryside so you can get a woman. But what are you talking about? You didn't have to receive that." At least that's my opinion in how the story is going to go. uh, so the whole resist I know there is going to be in the ending of the story, whether it be the manga or the novel or the original source of the material, is going to end in a stupid way. I just know it. Now, that's the mostly the gist of it about the two of them. Now, at the if you see the opening song of this anime, you would be mistaken, like me, to think that this was going to be a harem, because they're showing a lot of girls, and you will. I honestly thought by watching the opening song of this anime that it was going to be a harem, but no. Honestly, most of the girls are just supporters of certain characters. Out of all of the characters that I'm going to show in the image right now, only two of them, obviously one of them being the main character Mona, only two of them are seeking a romantic relationship with Manaka. The rest of them are just supporting the other girl in their romance, or just there to be there, just happen to be part of the cast. I was personally mistaken thinking that it was going to be a harem. Would that have made the anime better? No, it would have been equally as awful. Now, let me okay. The now I talk about a little bit of the plot. Well, I'm sorry, a little bit of the two main characters, but honestly, the plot is mostly like I mentioned, Mona trying to seduce and get Medaka to fall for her, and stuff happen, and she ends up being the one to fall in love with him, and he always, every time that she's trying to seduce him, he put his finger and do the angry face, trying to inciting a mantra, pure of mind and spirit, and resist her charms. And mostly that's how it goes to the all 12 episodes. It's just a very tiring. By the third episode, the whole ongoing gag of the charm resist was already tiring. There a little bit of character growth where he stopped being a little bit too mean to her in his attempt to resist her charms. Yes, there was a little bit of character growth in both characters, but the plot was mostly the same, so it didn't help at all in the final stretch. It didn't change my opinion one little bit about my thoughts about this anime. Now, the one thing that I could say that I do like about this anime is the character designs. The character designs were well done. The Mona was super cute. The facial expressions in many different in scenes were very well done. And the other character Medaka, there with his main character, his eyes designs normally don't go for main characters. Do mostly either the bad boys, supporting characters, delinquents. But to have that type of character design as a main character was a little change of pace. Let's just say that. Now I already talked about the character designs, the color palette, very bright and cheerful. Fit the animation style very well, especially in the cutesy moments from the Mona. Now, those are two things that I like. Now, let's go to the supporting cast. Honestly, I don't like any of them. There was, I am going to be very honest. The two main characters and all of the supporting cast, all of them were just boring. There was no best boy, there was no best girl, no waifu material, and any of them. In fact, there was one girl of the supporting cast that just was irritating me. I just and there was not a single character that I personally enjoy watching in this anime. You know that you have those type of characters that when they leave the scenes or they change to a different supporting or main character, you say, I want to see more of her. No, I never got that feeling. All of them were equally as boring. I didn't care for any of them, honestly. So I think I said everything that I wanted to say. Talk about the main character, the supporting character, the art design. Oh, okay, sorry, I forgot to mention one thing, the edginess. The edginess on this anime uh, was very tame. There was no nipple. Let me just say this. Only panty shots and only one time where the girl did show her bra, but that's mostly the actually where the level goes. And I'm going to say this very honestly, as a gentleman as I am, or a man of culture. Honestly, the Elshina in this one just made no sense. There were many scenes that the Elshina just made no sense. I mean, there was one when the girl was indoors, the windows were up, and from nowhere, the wind started blowing, lifting up her skirt, and she just flapped down because she's love struck. She flaps down and the wind is still blowing up her her skirt upwards, and it was just weird. The Asian is just I'm not a Puritan. I'm not somebody who's just, oh, there's ecchi in this anime, I'm going to do that one point. You're never going to watch me do something like that. But it has to make sense. And not all of them, obviously. There were some ecchi moments that were tastefully well done, but there just were so many that were just so weird. I was like, where is this wind coming from? I'm harping on this too much. I'm going to move on. So I'm going to end it here. I am going to give this one a score of 4. A 4 out of 10. To me, a 4 is a slightly bad anime. Is it the awful? Is this the most awful thing that you're ever going to watch? No, but I think that the reason because I'm going to give it a 4 is because for two reasons. One, I didn't like any of the characters, not the main characters, not the supporting characters. The second is that the story was just it just was boring. It didn't captivated me in any way. The comedy was the laugh once, the romance. I never got the heart race feeling or nothing. Honestly, uh, watch Blue Box. That's a much better romance. Or Dangerous in My Heart, also very good romance anime. Watch any, and if you want romance, anything but this one. Don't I cannot recommend it to anybody. No, I'm going to leave it here. Now, have a good day, have a good night, wherever you're from, and see you next video.